Alright, this is the second version of the crystal. The first one was RGB LEDs, and it was a slightly smaller scale. This one is full size, so it's a little bit taller, a little bit wider. I already put the LEDs in it. I didn't have to drill any of the holes out because it's already to the correct scale. So I'm going to do the same thing as the last one. This is a shorter USB cable that was just used as a power source. That's why there's only the two wires. Another 100 ohm resistor. These are UV LEDs versus RGB. I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the other one. I'm going to solder the hots together, the negatives together, stick the wire in with a resistor, and then we're going to plug it in. But this is a different type of plastic than the last one. This 3D printed plastic one is glow in the dark. So if I turn off the lights, it should give a greenish glow. Let's do that just so you can see. It's not really charged up, but you can see that it's glowing. Let's turn the lights back on. So the UV lights should definitely supercharge this. Ultraviolet will supercharge glow in the dark. Not for very long, granted. It's not going to stay glowing bright for hours at a time or anything. It just makes it stronger at once. So I'm going to do it like I did the last one. Solder them across, and then when it's all done and everything works good, I'll put some hot glue on it to ensure there's no cross connections, so they won't short out. But same as the last one, this is a 3D print file from the YouTuber BigClive, which he's nice enough to help me on another project. So hopefully when we test that one out, I can film it and show you the result. But it might be a while. Not because of getting the stuff, because of other things just going around in the world, life, and I have some Lemax and Nesco products I got to get finished up for some people. Of course, there's more videos coming. Before this one even went up, there was some more already. So, and we are working on the giveaway, which is coming up in about 2 weeks' time from now. Probably a week or so from the time this video actually gets out. So anyway, even though I'm having some slight health issues and we're busy right now, I am trying to fit in more time to get these done, since I know there's a lot of people out there trying to get their displays set up for, you know, 4th of July, Americana, or, you know, Halloween, next major holiday. Easter's done. Now time for Halloween. So, me, I have an all-year-round village. I never take it down. One of these days I might get around to finishing it, since I finally got all my last parts. But, time. Like most people, time is always a factor. Just never seems to be enough of it. Plus, currently helping out a friend's mother. Unfortunately, one of my friends, I think I mentioned it before, passed away a couple of weeks ago. He had relatively no family here, so we've been helping his mom deal with the stuff. and so I've been preoccupied with that. I have another friend who's in the hospital right now with liver failure, so it's been a very, very interesting 2001, I'll tell you that. This one, because it's physically larger, I can't jump the wires together like I did before because it's physically larger. The LED leads aren't long enough. So I'm going to have to put in some wire to take up the distance. Just want to see. I was looking to see if I'd see the red wire showing through the plastic. It doesn't appear that I'll see it. Yeah. So, those are some of the fun things going on right now. Also, trying to find some of these specialty parts. The UNESCO music boxes use, like most, obsolete components because of their age. So trying to find parts for that is always a fun job. Oh, didn't pre-tin this one. Let's do that before I try and solder it. And then some of those Mr. Christmases I've been doing are also old. That's why we're the Random Junk Channel. Random junk to get it done. If necessary, new is purchased. That didn't work. Okay. Just about out of solder. The last one I hot glued the LEDs in, and when I had to replace the one LED, it was bad because I didn't check them. These I checked, so hopefully they also function when I'm done, because that would be really annoying. Found out that when you hot glue 3D printed plastic, I think it's because it's porous. It makes it really hard to peel the hot glue off. Somebody else said it's probably because the hot glue is melting the plastic and they're bonding, which I never thought of, and that's a very good possibility. I am not a aficionado on 3D plastics since I only started working with them recently. A piece of wire. Alrighty, let's get some more solder. Anybody out there getting into doing repairs and learning how to solder, there's a lot of great videos on the internet, especially YouTube, on how to learn. I know a lot of the Lemax repairs, as an example, you have to solder connections, especially when you replace a motor or an LED. The guy who made this print file, BigClive, has a video on soldering. You don't need a fancy solder station like I'm using. You can use a, let's say Radio Shack, but they're not here anymore. $10 soldering pen from Radio Shack, or an adjustable one for 20-30 bucks. The ones I don't like are the cold heat ones. I know they have their purpose, but when I was using it on an expensive project I was doing, every time I was trying to solder the strings of LEDs together, it was causing the entire string to come on. Just to give you an idea, the string I was soldering at its different junctures was nearly 15 feet. That's a lot of LEDs it's firing up. And that's not something I wanted to do, because the cold heats use a arc to heat them versus a just a heating element like these pens do, or the gun, like the big gun I've used before for big solder joints. So I have talked to some people in different forums who haven't soldered before, so they're trying to find somebody to help them. If you can't find anybody to help you, just get some wire and some solder and try it yourself. It's a, I don't want to say it's a high skilled, but it's a somewhat skilled process. But it's easily learned. There's nothing to be afraid of. A little practice, you'll be pro at it in no time. Okay, I think we're good on the wires. Let's double check them. Ground, negative, 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 negative. Positives, yep, we're all good. Feed this through. Yeah, the only reason I have a soldering station is I was actually tired of having the pens constantly sitting on my desk when I'm working, bumping them, knocking them, accidentally grabbing them because I hit them. You know, the usual. And my 100 ohm resistor. And also I wanted a power supply that was variable, and most soldering stations come with variable DC power supplies attached to them. This is 0 to 15.7 volts DC, and it can handle 2 amps of current out, which is a lot for low voltage. And then this is my upgraded one that I bought. It also does that. It also has a USB plug, which is very nice. Since on the last crystal, if y'all watched it, the battery pack wouldn't power it because there wasn't enough power in the, or enough of a draw for the thing to function right. Because a lot of battery packs require a certain amount of resistance to work. I gotta fire up my heat gun. Oh, never mind. I just didn't want to fire up my heat gun, which which is also attached to the soldering station. Anyway, going back to the soldering, if you want to take it up yourself, I always recommend trying to get some lead-based solder. It flows a lot easier, and it doesn't crack as often. A lot of the Lemax stuff, if you look at the solder is kind of a pale aluminum color, aluminum-ish color. That's because it's lead-free. Lead solder always has a nice shine. At least that's how I usually determine the difference. Not always 100% accurate, but, you know, to start. Okay. Let's get this one back. So. Shoot. There we go. Okay. That should do it. Yay. So here is the UV driven glow-in-the-dark crystal. There you go. See, all 7 of them work because I tested the lights in advance. This, what I see, slightly different than the viewfinder, is a bluish purple, and then the very ends are a whitish blue where the points come together. You can see. And then if I unplug it, look how bright that is. That is why I like the UV LEDs, is because you can supercharge the glow-in-the-dark stuff. For the Lemax, I have the little 3 LED, the dual pods of the black, they're like 4.5 volts. And certain houses that have a lot of UV or fluorescent components on them. So, and I mount those inside my little squares. The Expedits from IKEA. And that way that specific piece glows when the black light's on it. And then of course, if it is a glow-in-the-dark object, as soon as I kill power, I have this bright green glow. Like so. So here it is, and you can see it's getting dimmer. Here is the 3D crystal, full size. Should have got the other one off the shelf. Glow-in-the-dark resin or 3D plastic with 7 UV LEDs with a 100 ohm resistor running off of a 5 volt USB power. It draws, because I told you on the last one, so let's, it's pulling almost the same. The other one was 0.05 amps, this one's 0.07. So, draws a little bit more power than the other ones. But these also run at a higher voltage. Just under 3.5 volts is what I'm driving them at, about 3.3. The other ones I was running at 3 volts with the resistor. So, but we're good. That's what it looks like. Hopefully you enjoyed this short video compared to the other videos I do when I do repairs. So here is the UV reactive 3D crystal. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you on the next one. Let's turn it on one more time. Huh. Here, we'll go out with some light. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. All right. Have a good one.